That's a pretty small display. Doesn't seem that complex, does it? But lead time can easily be around 20 weeks, even when there's no shortage in the market. Why is that? And why does it take so long to customize such a display, to get the datasheet and the sample for approval? Well, those are all questions I talked about with the CEO of EDT Denmark. Hey, Michael. Good to have you here. I'm glad that you could take the time.
You're welcome, Manuel. It's always a pleasure to chat with you.
In our conversations with customers, I know you are aware of this as much as I am, we often encounter the same questions. Usually it is, why does creating specifications, the documentation, take so long? And another common concern that at least I keep hearing a lot is that LCD manufacturers are not flexible enough. Maybe to get us started,
Absolutely.
what does a display consist of?
Yeah, one of the things that makes it complicated and makes it take quite a long time is actually that an LCD module is quite a complex structure. It consists of 40 materials or more in some cases, and in the case of our smart embedded system here, we are talking maybe 150.
And would you say there are key components that should be viewed more critically than others?
Absolutely, no doubt. An LCD module itself, just the display itself, consists of several key components, obviously, like the LCD panel, which in itself is two pieces of glass and a spacer and some filter, some color filter, and some liquid crystal. But then you also have like a polarizer on the top, and there's a polarizer on the backside. Then you start to add the backlight part and the mechanical parts to keep the mechanical structure stable and robust. And then you can add driving boards, interface boards.
And in terms of ambient temperature, vibration, shock, are there certain components? Well, we don't have to go into detail, but are there certain components that need to be checked and scrutinized so that they can perform adequately?
Absolutely. All components need to comply to the specifications. So we need to, that's the component itself, or the material itself. Could be the polarizer. And if it doesn't have a proper adhesive material which is suitable for the wide temperature range, then you will start seeing issues with expansion coefficients, because it's different material and they act differently under different temperature variations. But of course, also all the electronics need to match, and the liquid crystals itself has a limitation in how far down in the low temperature and how far up in the high temperature range they can go before you start seeing strange display phenomena.
Got it. Okay. Now, let's create a scenario here. Let's say we start a custom design. One of our customers is interested in a 7-inch display, standard industrial display size, but with some major modifications. What is the first step in the process?
One of the most important steps is to understand the application. How long time does he expect us to deliver exactly the same module?
Now, let's say all parties have reached a common understanding of the technical and commercial aspects. Now, what is your first step once you receive that tooling order?
So the next step is to start to prepare a CAS, a customer acceptance data sheet, defining all the technical specifications of the product. But it also includes inspection criteria that we use internally to evaluate the document. The CAS is a very, very important document.
And you do have, if I remember correctly, you do have a design review meeting. What exactly, who's involved and what's that for?
It involves mechanics. It involves optical inspection. It involves test criteria. But it is certainly also in very deep detail involves all the production team. We must make sure that what we put in the paper can also be produced in real life at the quality level which is expected from all parties, etc. So there's quite a big team of people attending this meeting.
And you do have this meeting for every custom design?
Absolutely, every time. Yeah.
Now, when you say specification, you talked about that specification. It sounds pretty straightforward. Could be a document that someone feels looks the same like a standard product, so what's the big deal? But what is actually involved in generating or creating the specification?